G'day, g'day. Welcome back to the OPL Week 9, day number 1. We just saw Claire pick up back-to-back pentakills.
Yeah.
Carry his team to victory. I'm pumped.
I am. Can they pick up back-to-back wins? Because if Legacy do pick up this game, then suddenly AV have to beat Direwolves to get 4th, and that's a tough order. I didn't mean to say order there. Like,
you kind of looked at me as you said it as well. Yeah, you can't say he's a legacy player anymore.
Yeah,
because,
right?
But what I want to talk about is, when does the hype train start? We talked about Sin last year being this team that was riding huge momentum coming into Gauntlet, and then they were able to continue it rolling through. They nearly made the grand final.
Yep.
When does the legacy hype train start picking up speed? When do we think, you know what, they've beaten Order. They're like winning games in a very, like, much more convincing fashion, I would say. Like, when do you start thinking that maybe this is a team that can do damage?
Well, first stop is definitely Bombers, so they have to win this game. I feel like dropping a game to Bombers means that that train slows down significantly going into Gauntlet. Because like beating Order, you're like hell yeah, like that's so good. But then if you like drop a game to Bombers, it kind of seems like it's like a bit rocky, you know? It's not consistent. So I feel like they do have to pick up this next game in just as convincing fashion, and then Legacy fans should be super pumped going into the Gauntlet.
Because I feel like if you play Talia Zyra Khan well, getting Dove is kind of an inevitability.
Yeah.
Like, you hate to see it. You hate to see a double kill, but I feel like unless you play incredibly respectfully, in which case you just lose all the farm in the game, like, eventually you're going to get shoved in the mid lane. Zach's going to take your Claire bot. Zach's going to take your Talia bottom, and they're going to dive you, and you're probably going to die. But that was really the only mistake they, like, genuinely made that game. Like, potentially the dive top lane they could have tried to avoid, but...
Well, other than Mimic, like, inting into the Scion passive, because the thing you do when you
actually,
get Dove bot...
good point.
Because the thing you do when you get Dove bot and you know it's an inevitability is your bot lane backs away and you make a play on the other side of the map. So if Mimic doesn't die to the Scion passive...
Yeah, potentially they can repetitively dive sleeping.
And then they can, like, make a play top side, potentially, especially with Tarm Kents, right? Because they can just back off bot side, they can ulti, and you can win the race.
I've got such play-by-play memory now, by the way. When a team plays well, I'm like, they've done nothing wrong. They're just gods. That guy on your screen is a god.
He is a god.
Claire is someone that people have been excited for a long time. And I actually think it was Spooks that tweeted out, and I just, like, I'll paraphrase. He was like, Claire's always been this good. Like, Legacy are just playing around him now. Is that the case? Has Claire always... This was a guy, remember, that went to the LJL to play Academy and climbed that rapidly on solo queue ladder that the LJL players were like, he is obviously scripting. I can't believe you allow him to play competitive.
Know that. Okay.
That's how good people think he is when he plays well.
I think it's hard to say because Claire isn't the most versatile mid laner. Like when he like last split when they had Lost AD carry and he was playing like Karma and just shielding the Lost. Sure, like Lost is getting all the resources, but that's not to say like Claire was playing not to this level, like on those utility champs. You know what I mean? Like it's not like he played that well and was just because he's playing Karma, like not getting all the kills. You know what I mean? So like I feel like there is a bit of variance. Something I do have to note. Before we forget about it, before we get into game 2, Choo Choo's was saying in the break, you know what Rosie should have done to deny the second pentakill?
What?
He had Spellbook, and he had like 5 seconds.
He should have teleported
He should
somewhere else.
have changed to TP and teleported like to an outer turret, to like an inner, just anywhere. And he could have denied the pentakill from Claire.
Yeah, that's not nice. However, let's get back into picks and bans. It's going to be Gangplank, and it's going to be Legacy not having ban number 1, as Mimic was late to the room.
Yeah, okay.
So they lose a ban. Not the worst thing on red side at the moment, I feel. Kha'Zix banned away. So bans maintained right now for the Bombers.
Do they stick with the Camille, or do they stick with the Alistar?
So they went Nah, and then Legacy went Camille.
Yeah.
So are you talking about Legacy?
Yeah.
I feel like you stick with the Ali.
Yeah, because I feel like taking Rosie off Ali is a much bigger deal than taking like Mimic off Camille or something like that. So, sleeping off Camille.
Yeah.
Because, like, yeah, Rosie just looks so good, and then, I mean, he looked fine on the Rakan. He got, like
but he's squishier.
Yeah, so it's
the
easier to, like, play around, potentially.
Yeah, and the thing about Ali is you don't want to hit him. Whereas Rakan's the opposite, because he does more after his combo. But they don't. They stick with the... This is interesting as well, because I feel like if they had a banned Alistar, they could have picked Zyra Khan in their first 2 picks, which Raid and Decoy do play. Yeah, and they would have denied both champions.
All of them are up right now, so do we see the first pick Zyra coming out?
Maybe they're too scared of Leona from Rosie.
Maybe.
That they don't want to take the Zyra.
Maybe, because that's going to be the
Varus. Play it.
They don't even pick up. Yeah, they throw the gauntlet, you know. They know if you pick the Zyra Rakan, they're more than happy to play Leona. He was playing Leona before it was like the pick into Rakan. Yeah. Rosie has always been like...
He's a hipster.
Yeah, he's always been the hipster, 100%. Building rapid fire on Bard. The only troll build is okay is Nash's, by the way.
What is more hipster? I have a genuine question for you. Ziggs support or Maokai support?
Ziggs.
Yeah, I feel like Ziggs as well.
Yeah.
I feel like you wanted to really say
Maokai. No, like I've never really been a hipster. You know, I played the meta. Like I played MF, but like she was like
opposite of the hipster. As soon as Gorilla picked a champion, I could guarantee the next 10 solo queue games I watched of you would be the champion that Gorilla picked. However, it's going to be Ryze and Caitlyn picked up, so no Xayah Rakan.
Yeah.
So now if they go something like Leona, potentially you get a Janna lock in. And then
you just don't pick it. You're not going to blind pick the Leona. That's going to be
come on,
pretty rough.
You take Ali, don't you?
I mean, yeah.
I feel like Ali's blind pickable.
Absolutely. I'd expect them to take that one away. It does mean that the jungle would fall through. Obviously, with Yolaf and the Kha'Zix bans already.
With Volibear still very... Oh, no, Skarner. No,
it's actually going to be the Skarner. So Rosie, fairly comfortable on a bunch of champions right now. Showing the Rakan, showing the Leona, showing the Ali, things like that.
And it makes sense. Actually banned out. I actually am a big fan of, like, shoring up weaknesses in draft.
Yep.
And if there was a weakness last game, it was 7, unfortunately. So get him on the strongest champion in the current patch is going to be a good strategy, especially when it's a linear champion like Kha'Zix.
Imagine an invisible scorpion that could suppress your mid laner just zooming through the bush.
They got movement speed out of the brush. Oh,
that's
a stuff of nightmares.
Don't say Kha'Zix ever again, please. But it's going to be Sybil.
Sorry, dude.
Picking up the mirror matchup. They're just going to trade champions here. Going to go the Zac. So neither team opting into a support.
Thresh?
Banned away from Rosie.
Does Rosie even play?
Yeah. He's played Thresh.
Tahm Kench banned away.
Thresh has actually been picking up priority.
I think Thresh is good. I just can't remember Rosie playing Thresh in a competitive game.
No, I have. Like in 2014 he played it. Like way back when.
Like pretty much yesterday.
Yeah. It's only 4 years ago. Man. Like you remember it. You know, your mechanics stick to you. You can't lose it that fast. It's only been 4 years.
Oh, this is an absolute disaster. Leona will join Thresh on the fair.
So this is
trying
super
to bait
weird.
the Alistar.
Yeah, potentially they have some pick into it, but the Tahm Kench has already been banned
Ali at the moment. He's just going to play Doorman. He's just going to play Brawl.
Like, yeah, actually, because mages don't really beat Ali anymore. Because, like, if he just gets if you get jungle attention and he can just combo in without, like, knowing that he will not get counter ganked, then you just lose.
As soon as people have, like, found out that pole flash was a thing from the brush, and they banned the Braum, so now they say, you take the Ali.
Yeah, maybe they do, honestly. That would be super interesting.
Kate Ali doesn't sound like the best lane. I feel like they go Taric here.
Kate Ali used to be real good. When, like, you could trap off the headbutt combo, but... Now you can't anymore, so they do opt in for the Taric, like you said. Very good with the Zac when you have like these team comps that have a very direct,
2 dive buddies, 3 on the back line.
You have like you have a front line and a back line. It's very obvious, and then you land you Bastion to the Zac. He goes in, Cosmic Radiance over the top, and everybody gets invulnerability there. But see how it plays out. Obviously, they haven't picked their top side, so they could go for something weird. Mimic's played a lot of Fiora. They won't necessarily have that tank v tank matchup in the top lane again. But sleeping, it's his turn on the Poppy.
And I thought Poppy would come back because of Fiora and Camille. Yeah, that's why I thought Poppy would come back. However, Camille does okay in the lane from what I've seen. True damage is just too strong. Trinity Force into Sterix means she doesn't die. Camille's just a very strong pick. There's a reason it's getting banned all the time at the moment. And it's going to be the Morgana, a Rosie special picked up. I don't mind it, to be honest. I think Black Shield on Skarner is a good thing, apparently, Egypt.
Yeah. He can zoom in. You can zoom him in, he can ulti up people, but I feel like Poppy's coming back because of Zac. Like, the answer into Zac. Like, we saw it that game. As soon as Zac goes in, I feel like
there's more answers to Zac, though. Like, you can play Thresh, Sejuani. Like, there's so many things you can play into Zac if you just want to deny the leap. Janna.
It's kind of like the little bonus, you know?
Yeah.
It's like the extra. A little cherry on top of the cake.
And Mimic goes with Trundle.
Okay.
This is, you either used to pick Kennen or Jace into Poppy if you wanted to, like, really shut it down, or if you just wanted to outscale it, you would just go Trundle. Because there's no way anyone goes in a side lane against Trundle this game. If they do, they just get run down. And then even more scarily is that Mimic can do that weird Trundle thing in team fights where he just ults the Poppy and runs at either Varus or Corki and just is like a troll.
Yep.
And I hate it when Trundles do that.
He's unkillable. Just gets so incredibly tanky. Trundle ulti on a tank is kind of like old school Poppy. Yeah. And she would like ulti the Janna and run at everyone else and you couldn't damage her and she's literally unkillable.
Yeah.
But like Trundle does that, but just by getting a bunch of resists.
Here's a question. Did you play old school Poppy?
No, not really.
See, when Runic Echoes, the first iteration that built out a Sheen was available, you know how everyone was playing like Ezreal and stuff?
Yeah,
I was jungling Poppy.
Okay.
Because Sheen magic item, and then you would go Gunblade, and you would do exactly that. You would ult the support and just run at the AD carry, Gunblade him and kill him with old school Thunderlords.
Was that back when DFG existed?
Nah, it was slightly after that.
Okay.
DFG was gone, but yeah, DFG Poppy was also a thing. You're really throwing back now. However, completely different Poppy, completely different game. Don't even know why we're talking about it, but we're about to get onto Summoner's Rift full game.
Mate.
Yeah, it is a throwback. When are they going to do what WoW's just done with Vanilla? When are we going to get like
oh yeah, like all the old champs in like a
beta League of Legends?
Yeah.
Give me Xin Zhao patch.
It's like it's not a, what is it? The rotating game modes, like
Oh, they just throw around a patch out there.
Yeah.
That would be
awesome.
Fun.
That's a good idea.
Geniuses.
Yes, hell yeah. That's super cool. Rosie, he's gone for the Glacial Augment on his pocket pick Morgana. He's also got a good skin. I rate that one.
I reckon he's going to go Spooky Ghost.
Yeah, maybe.
As we are into Summoner's Rift. Game number 2. Bombers taking on Legacy. This is a must-win for Legacy if they're going to build that momentum going into Gauntlet. We think they have a team comp to be able to do it. And to see whether he agrees, he'll probably disagree, however, because he's the Bombers coach. Let's check in with Laura and Windows Monkey.
Thank you very much, guys. I'm here with Windows Monkey. Now, looking at that draft, Rosie had a Thresh ban thrown at him. Was this something that surprised you guys, or what are your thoughts on it in general?
I mean, Rosie's always been really good on Thresh, and it's something we played a lot in scrims, so I guess maybe Legacy was aware of it. You know, just a really strong champion general, throws out that hook, sets that castle around them, and you know, gets a strong pick off.
Well, Rosie and Sleeping have both stepped up incredibly over the past few weeks. What training or preparation have they been going through? Has anything changed?
Not really. We've kind of like had the same focus over the course of the split. Just trying to get better as a team. And yeah, I just think everybody's been improving. I think the Bombers have actually made a big improvement in the split.
And now we are at the end of the regular split. So I wanted to ask you how you found it as a coach working with the Bombers.
Oh, it's been absolutely fantastic. The organization is great. The players are great. Like, we're all good friends. It's been a lot of fun. Manager, Nathan's like been really cool. And yeah, just really enjoyed being in the country and doing the OPL.
Well, thanks so much for talking to us, Windows Monkey, and best of luck with this series.
Thank you very much.
All right, so we got to see a little bit of a cheeky start coming out of Sybil. He started at a wolf camp. Mimic, meanwhile, with Grasp, just ran at Sleeping. But we're going to see a buff-to-buff start out of Seb, and this will be a 3-buff if he executes this, because Sybil's gone for his very greedy half-jungle clear, which I'm not a fan of.
Gone for the Olaf. Gonna do both of them at the same time. Will survive though, but I was thinking this is...
Oh, he's got smoke. Okay,
this is going to do two things, because Bombers actually went for the invade there, and they walked up to the blue ramp and were like, oh, there's nobody there, he must be starting topside, things like that, potentially, but then Seb takes away his red, but I mean, Sybil can answer bot-side, but yeah.
As Pillar has been used, and Mimic now is in range to be stunned. Tackle comes out. That is a stun proc.
Yes.
They do both flash. Going forward, and Mimic, you're in big trouble. He runs back towards a creep line. Who do they give it over to? Poppy. First blood for Sleeping.
Tides have been turned here. Game number 2. Sleeping's the one to actually pick up the kill, and unfortunately, Trundle doesn't have a zombie passive, so Mimic can't answer with that one there. Going to be able to push in this way with his jungler. Get himself a reset.
I think that they've just made a mistake there.
Pushing it in?
Yeah. He can hold this off turret with Pillar.
Does he?
And he is just absolutely zoned Sleeping and took all of his CS. Sleeping got Sleeping got 2 creeps in that whole wave. Now he has to teleport back.
Can he shove it in? That's the thing, because of course Seb used his flash as well, recalled and goes bot side. Sybil, because of that early greedy clear, does finish top side, so hasn't got himself a recall, but he's ending up around here, so he could potentially gank Sleeping if they want to opt into it, but it looks like he's just going to base.
Yeah, that is a flashless Poppy, however, does not go for the gank. Seb now, the benefit of this is Seb has all of his camps available.
Yep.
And has already picked himself up boots and a Hunter's Potion. So he's on the map for life.
And Skarner clears much quicker than the Zac anyway.
Yeah.
So Sybil didn't really do a whole lot of counter jungling there, got almost nothing, just went topside, realized his red buff was gone and takes away his own golems. And as you mentioned, Seb has everything available, literally every minor camp on his side of the map.
So thoughts on going away from the Taliyah and going towards Corki for Luch? Because Choo Choo's was obviously not a fan of the Taliyah, said that Luch needs to play selfish League of Legends in his words. Do you agree? Do you disagree?
I kind of disagree. Luch did look successful on the Tillia. He was the reason with Seb that they got that early advantage bot side. They played through the bot lane. It just gives them a really easy avenue. Now they're trying to set up a play mid. The bot lane is rotating up here, but you're ganking for a Corki. He has no setup, CC. Rosie's just going to hope that a miracle bind lands.
And they're wasting a lot of time because we've already met. Oh, no, they're not now. They're going to push in the wave. So Seb is kind of just on like help out my lane duty.
He's Soraka Skana right now.
Yeah, he's like running into. Oh, that's a lot of damage. Claire actually ran through the Valkyrie then. Valkyrie does so much damage. People don't realize how much damage Valkyrie does. It's like the equalizer, but crap.
Okay, okay. It is. I agree with you, but I've never heard it. I've never heard it put so succinctly, Jake. That was fantastic.
Well, if you're using Corki for an equalizer, you've stuffed up somewhere.
Yeah.
It's crap, right?
That's what it is. Of course, Claire had the heal, but has Spellbook, so bases and just going to TP back to that one, despite tanking the crappy Valkyrie.
That's what I wish they would change. I wish Spellbook, like Stopwatch, came online at 10 minutes. Because I think then it would be awesome. But right now, you just take heal or cleanse, depending on whether the jungler has CC or you just have to outrun them. Let's hold that thought. Very nicely done from Rosie, but misses the bind. Sybil is, however, behind him, and this will be a flash.
Yeah.
Actually gets the long arms, but doesn't have anything to slap him to.
That's the big deal for Legacy right there, Decoy. Very nicely timed. Burnt the Black Shield. He knows if he throws a binding at the Morgana, she has to try and dodge it. Sorry, throws the Dazzle. But then, of course, Sybil coming in means they do get the flash from Tiger.
Good trade from Claire in the mid lane, meanwhile. Just gets some health and then runs back to his turret, really top speed. We saw a phase rush rise in the LPL as we actually have Seb coming in once again for a bit of a Soraka gank. No, actually he wants to get something done here. Finds nothing. I was going to say, what are your thoughts on the fact that, you know, potentially Rise can now run something like Airy, can run something like Phase Rush? Comet was something that we saw a lot in the pre-season. Do you think that potentially Unsealed Spellbook is still the right choice?
I feel like it is. We saw a few weeks ago, I think. Yeah, my last week of casting, so it would have been 2 weeks ago. We saw some Phase Rush and we actually did see some Airy.
I think played it.
Yeah, and so like coming into 8.4, we just saw a mixture of all three, but now 8.5, it kind of has just settled on the Spellbook. Just so much more versatility. Means you can side lane, especially with tanks being nerfed a little bit with the Warmogs, things like that. 1-3-1s potentially coming back slightly, so you want access to the TP.
That's what I like about it. I like 1-3-1, and I think that it is risky right now to start with teleport in lane. Because you know Rise is going to step up, trade pretty aggressively until he has tier. And it just leaves a very obvious window to gank him if you're able to. As Sleepy's actually trading very well onto Mimic because he's and will actually go forward. Says, get out of my way, knocks him up. Puts down the W as well. Mimic now turns around and is looking for something. Sleeping had already used the W, and Zach will come up here. However, that was very obvious. When you're running away, and then you turn around and start biting someone, HP. I reckon that you might have a jungler somewhere.
Yeah, Seb is matching, though. Walking up to the top side, but no, does get called away.
For red buff.
Isn't actually going through with his recall here. So Mimic doesn't even have the TP, so he'll base and have to walk back to lane. But this does mean Seb, for the second time this game, got to be able to steal away this one. Sybil hasn't had a red buff.
And people are probably thinking, why don't you take your Spire? They show up on the minimap. That's a dead giveaway. Potentially teleport. Collapse could come across. No teleport because Mimic doesn't have it. But instead, Sybil, he's a Ninja Scorpion.
Yeah. Seb?
He is.
He's the Skarsix.
I thought you... Sorry. As actually very nice binding into Ultra, and that's going to be potentially first blood. Decoy marches forward because he doesn't think he can get out. Now flashes, Flordo attack. Another one does not hit, but the puddle will pick up the kill. It's second blood. I'm so bad at that, but a kill for Rosie.
And that looked so sketch. But Decoy actually made a very important decision there because he knows Taric passive when you auto attack, your cooldowns come back up. He knew the Ignite would tick down and actually kill him, so he tries to get forward, he goes in, looks for the resets on his Q and W to try and keep himself alive, and it looked good. Rosie had to burn the flash to Ignite, but in the end, very nicely played out of the Bombers. They do pick up the kill. Off the back of Rosie, started with the binding, finished with the W.
Exactly right. So it's 2 for 3. I actually think that Tiger kicked that one up with an ultimate. So don't want to raid on your parade.
There you go.
Yeah.
I'm just a support apologist.
Yeah, you are a support apologist. I also think that you're giving Decoy a little bit too much credit. I think he knew he was dead and ran forward. Then he thought he could live, so he flashed and burnt a heal out of his support.
I disagree. All right, I straight up disagree. That's the only way to live in that situation. There's potential because if you bridge the gap and then they don't think that they don't have to chase after you, and then you kind of get that few seconds or the kind of like within
I
a
don't
second.
think they should have burnt Summoner spells. When you're looking at this, you've now got a Predator Flash Skarner that is going to run at your completely Summoner spellless Taric.
Yep.
This lane should die twice before he has Summoner spells back and available. There is no way he can get an ulti down in time.
Yeah, but they've brought down a Zac to try and help them shove out right now. Pings do
Kill
go
him
out,
as
but it's
well.
not warded.
Oh,
Tiger,
actually,
no
very
flash.
well timed. Tiger doesn't have it. Kidnap will register. Ultimate comes down because
TP.
Seb just wasn't here in time. TP is available, and once again, Seb is just late on the play. Claire completes, and Legacy turn what should have been a massive advantage for the Bombers.
And that's it. The TP comes through from Claire. Both top laners have it available, but neither pull the triggers because they're just slapping away at each other on the top side. He actually came from base as well, so he got his shot in. He
This
comes
is a
bot,
Lucio I knew and love.
and then he gets into the play and walks back mid.
Claire
Luke
says,
takes the
I'm going to
red
go
camp.
kill your bottom lane. Claire says, I'm going to take your Raptor camp. Dragon now started up.
First Ocean of the series.
Will he flash in? Will he blast clone in? Because he can grab him with the ultimate, smite it away, and then flash back out.
Is it worth it? No, he's going to look. Oh, he actually gets it there.
Didn't even have to burn ulti.
For an Ocean Drake. The flash. That's
You told me before that Ocean Drake is better than Air Drake.
It's better than Air Drake. I didn't say it was better than Flash. I mean, obviously a significant investment by Seb. That's a 5-minute cooldown on the Flash, and Skarner relies so heavily. He obviously has the Predator, but against lanes where Raid has Flash, Claire has Flash, so does Mimic. All 3 lanes, Decoy is really the only one under threat from the Skarner right now.
Yeah, and I feel like that now is like the capping off the, like, he should have died and now will not die. Like, is the only way I can think of putting it nicely.
Yep.
You know, with Morgana, Black Shield, as well as Flash Predator on Skarner, a flashless Taric should not be able to live, as we actually see Seb going to run into Claire,
Cancel.
grab him, cancel it. Claire now, without any hope of survival, will be flash tackled. Sleeping really wanted that kill.
Does get it. They're going to look on to the Rift Herald right now. Sybil was channeling his recall, but he actually commits to saying here, potentially we might have the reverse here. Sybil
Here we
dive
go.
into the
He's
pit.
going in. He can be interrupted, remember, and this is a genuine 3v2, so they just say, you know what, that's probably not a fight
He
we're
has
going to
Flash,
win.
mate. He can go over the wall. He can look for the steal. Why? Does he want to do the reverse
They
set?
keep
No.
the eye open.
Yeah, that's
That
the
was
big
really
thing.
nice.
A lot of people don't know about that one, but the I think the eye stopped spawning
2,000.
at 2,000 HP, so you can kind of start whacking away, and then you can secure it with that big chunk of true damage.
It's like 1,500 damage at this stage of the game. Eye plus smite. Tiger looking in the brush for an ultimate, but he's standing on top of a ward. Bummer.
But not going to lose a whole lot there. Seb shows himself on the top side with that sweeper. But,
And the reason that I'm looking and I'm like, why don't they just flash ulti? Do they have enough damage to one-hit decoy? Probably not now.
No. I don't think so.
I reckon the sunglasses are coming down. The music is blaring.
TP out of Mimic. He has priority in this lane so far. Sleeping has 2 kills, but
Oh, that
Mimic
just means
0-1. It's just Trundle versus Poppy. He's just shoving in completely.
just means that Mimic's going to be tanky. That's all that kills on
Yeah.
Poppy Mead right now.
Oh, like, those stats aren't yours.
They're mine.
Absolutely. He might just solo out a turret here. Sleeping.
Yeah, didn't want to burn the TP, so he's
Yeah.
just going to give him 1,000 gold instead.
He's channeling the ulti. Can he
Yeah.
dodge it? Oh, no.
Oh,
Oh, the minion didn't take it down. That honestly would have been good for Sleeping if that last minion auto was enough, because they denied the first turret going over solo to Trundle. He's already losing out in the 1v1.
yeah, now no ulti
That would have meant
available.
more.
In goes Sybil, gets the long arms, nothing to slap him to.
But gets the Valkyrie. That's a big chunk of mana taken away from the Corki.
Now, Sleeping's in a really weird situation where he has to keep Mimic off the turret at all costs. If that wave crashes, the turret falls, and you can see he's already ooved. Rift Tower being used bottom lane, so they're going to
They're
race
trying to
here.
race for it. Next wave will be the big one right now. Sleeping might actually just
They
suicide
need to step
away
up and
top
start
side.
hitting the turret.
They're not. Sybil just wants it for himself.
Is he going to get blobleted? He can't kill it. The defense. Oh, he
autos.
does get it. And that is going to be first turret advantage going across. Sleeping will be able to put him into blob form.
Claire's
However,
here.
Claire is here. Does not matter. Bottom lane turret has gone down. Meanwhile,
Oh.
Decoy got pulled back. I told you he flashed, so he died. And that's going to be a kill and a turret on both sides of the map. But Legacy gets their
Oh.
first Rosie calculated.
Ace in the hole, not quite enough, but Bombers do equalize the turret trade.
Does it get a charge?
It shouldn't. 1 auto, 2 autos, 3 auto. We'll take it down. There's too much setup time, you know? It's one of those rugby players that spends 15 minutes like setting up his kick.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I don't
It's all,
want
it's all about speed with the Rift Herald. It's all about speed in League of Legends. But Legacy's bot lane did try and hold the turret. They wanted to secure the win on the race, but I feel like in the end it potentially was not needed, but Decoy kind of sacrificed himself with the ulti as well. That's
very interesting.
Probably a misclick.
I feel like he got question mark team by himself, so maybe it was a misclick.
Yeah.
I think the other thing it potentially could have been, if you think like next level, is like, hey, Zach's in this rush. He's going to step into my ulti. So you have to run away, because you can see mid lane turret is so incredibly low.
That is such a stretch.
Oh, yeah. Decoy marching forward, 3 health, calculated. Rise ulti out of a brush. There's no way a jungler is in there. I don't know what you're talking about.
He just wanted to hold his turret, man. That's it. There you go. To add on to your stretch. But Legacy right now, we talked about the 1-3-1 Mimic.
Bring back Tim Carmel-Wendell.
Has the advantage in the side lane. Claire going to go up top. Spellbook means he swaps out the TP for the Ghost, so he wants kind of that selfish 1v1 advantage. Potentially some safety for him in the side lane in terms of running away from Ascana, but Mimic potentially just at a stage of this game with the Ravenous where he can start ignoring the Poppy. As you see him just hitting the turret, then he's going to heal up. King's Tribute is the passive. Ray's taught me that one.
Yep.
Absolutely. He's just going to heal up on the wave with the lifesteal and then just rinse and repeat time after time against this turret.
Do it all over again, as you can see sleeping. If he ever gets too far out, however, he's just going to get ulted and then chased down. So he needs to play this one very carefully.
And this is what he has to do, because he needs to keep Mimic off the turret.
Yeah.
Because once the minions crash and Mimic doesn't have to tank it, he's just going to start ignoring you, right? So Sleeping kind of has to sacrifice his health and burn through his corrupting pot charges to keep him off. He's gone for a Sunfire to try and edge himself out some semblance of push, I feel, and obviously the armor health will help him against the Trundle.
Yeah, absolutely, and Tabby's just such a good pickup as well, so you can see that he's in the sweet spot. Anything past here, the game actually becomes incredibly difficult for the Poppy. Wonder if he goes something like an Iceborne Gauntlet, which is what we used to see a lot on Poppy, because it gives you more wave clear, but also means that potentially Raid is in big trouble if an unulted Poppy ever gets on the back line. It's going to take at least 3 or 4 items for Raid to be able to get a 1v1 off against Sleepy.
Bombers have found themselves a window to go towards the mid lane. This turret is incredibly low, but Legacy bringing all 5 as well to try and hold. Actually, Mimic is staying bot, Sleeping. He's going to channel the ulti.
Get rid of the tank.
Pop him
now
away.
There's no way that they can re-engage it, so they grab mid lane turret. Good use of their tempo there. The other impressive thing was that Skarner was sitting on the control ward just behind red buff, so Claire had to go the long way.
Yeah. He's a big deal right now.
They're actually going to grab... Oh, you hate to see it. Got to get him beforehand.
Before or after. You could just go with him and then drag him back if you want to, but if you cast it, whilst he's channeling that one, doesn't do a whole lot, so both junglers burn their ultis and ultimately nothing happens. But we see our first air Drake. We've got Notion. We didn't see one last game.
Mate, Predator Skarner.
With an extra 9 whole move speed or something.
You are not outrunning that guy.
But the buff was the in-combat move speed.
Yeah.
Predator Skarner, he doesn't care about in-combat move speed. He's either got you with the out-of-combat stats and he's landed the ulti. He's impaled you against his spike and he's dragging you back, or he's not.
You're such a hater.
Okay.
Can't change anything in League of Legends. Bryce gets too upset.
Oh, yeah, okay. We'll work on it, mate. We'll work on it. We'll get there.
Mimic is now, after he bought Tabbies himself, is just legitimately winning the 1v1 trade. He's about 30 CS up. Raid and Decoy want to get rid of that teleport ward because they know that a teleport is available out of Sleepy.
Ping's going on top side. Sybil floating behind Claire. They're potentially looking to get onto Luch, but he does have the cleanse.
Both those walls.
Well, we see Sybil as he's flying over.
Yeah, however, goes forward from Claire, can potentially still win this 1v1. You see big damage coming out now. Will back away as the rest of the squad is heading up river. They really want this way. You can see Claire using the ulti. Cannot cancel, however, they're still sending in the Skarner. And Sybil, I thought he was going to face check. Do not face check that brush, Sybil.
This is a big advantage going over to Legacy. They get out scot-free, and Mimic, as we saw for a brief moment, just going to eat that turret immediately.
No one was in the realm of being able to grab him, however. I felt like as soon as someone warded that brush, could have just flash grabbed him over the wall with the hook, but he's trying to zone away from the top lane turret. Yeah,
but weirdly right now, Legacy's bot lane was floating down towards the bot side, floating down to Mimic, which gives Bombers the chance to float top side. Claire had to back away from this turret, but in the end, both bot lanes kind of meet in the middle once again. Mimic proxy farming.
This time, ultimate was used. However, Sybil still is able to get out. Actually, no, it just came back available, so it wasn't used. That's just a chunk.
Yeah, he used it on the...
How did that happen? How did Sybil just get chunked out for no reason? I'm so confused.
Just the Skarner stun. Just got the Skarner stun. Obviously, the Impale was used mid lane, so it wasn't up quite just yet. But Luch, even though Claire's backed away all the way to his inner turret, he's playing so respectfully.
Yeah.
He just walked... It's not like he based and he's walking out of base. He just walked from the outer to the inner and back again.
But no teleport advantage this time around, so potentially Mimic could have got behind them and just continued to chase them down, so they will play the scaling game.
And this is what we talked about in terms of the Trundle into the Poppy. And we're going to see actually how this one happens. So Sybil slaps him against the ward and kind of just... He wants to defend his pink ward. Luch comes over, stun from Seb.
And Claire is actually sitting there watching
Like,
Sybil, just saying,
what
what was that?
He had to base, but my point, Trundle is just going to get worse and worse for the Poppy to deal with. And those windows where they burn the TP, as the game progresses, Bombers have to make those stick. Because if they don't, you saw it, what, 17 minutes into the game, Mimic had one wave on a turret and he just destroyed an outer. As he gets more and more gold, more and more stats, he's going to just push quicker and quicker. So these plays have to be sticking for the Bombers if they want to have any chance at holding on.
And Mimic is playing what I thought top laners would play. He's playing protect the creep kind of League of Legends. I was really worried when I saw Banner of Command that Zerot Porter would come back as well.
Yeah.
And top laners would play Poppy and just play defend my creeps. Like whack top laners away, just go Zerot into Banner of Command and just like use your ultimate like for a wave to be able to hit turrets. And Mimic is kind of doing that because he's about to build a banner.
It's not just going to be him hitting the turret. He's going to have a friend. Saw it game 1 as well, but Baron has spawned. We've hit 20 minutes. Bombers this game not opting into the immediate pull the trigger on that play, but they do have the control topside right now. Gold
Mimic
lead.
burns the ultimate and just going to force Sleeping away. You can see how much health he is getting back right now. No way Sleeping can trade with this. However, now ulti will run out and Mimic kind of used that when he wasn't near the turret, so cannot get access
And that's
again.
the big thing. It does give him aggro as well, so he can't actually just stand under there hitting that one. Sleeping doing a good job at holding the wave as best he can off the turret. Raid, I feel like out of all the 80 carries in the OPL, he's one of the safest. He's gone for a second item QSS. Hasn't even finished his IE, just has the Shiv. And he knows he needs to be away from that Skarner. With the Black Shield from Rosie, Seb, if he has Flash, he will get onto you if he wants. Like, it's not up to you, it's up to him. If he decides you want to get ulted, then you will. So very early into the game, kind of paying the Skarn attacks.
And I feel like he knows that the game's going late. So you're going to get to 3 or 4 items.
Ooh,
However, Baron is going to be started up again. However, this time it will be blued out, and Seb isn't that tanky. Has not built armor yet.
He has not, and they did pull Poppy over as well. No TP, so Sleeping had to leave early. They kind of tried that play in the window they got from Mimic's recall. So he backed away, went back to base, still has the TP, and still has TP advantage from the last time they went topside. So they're trying to get something, trying to force Legacy into a play, but can't make it stick. Potentially have found Sybil. Binding does land, but he goes over the wall.
Yeah, exactly. And you can see Sybil is just being a nuisance, just kind of being the battle ward that Claire needs right now to catch that lane. You can see, meanwhile, they're just letting Mimic split push. This is all they want to do with their Trundle at this stage of the game. You can see Sleeping actually this time tackles his creep back into the turret.
Yeah.
I like that. That's a much better tactic. And Mimic is actually taking up the turret right now.
Is he going to go left? Is he going to proxy here? Oh, potentially. Oh,
actually, now the ulti is there, and they didn't kill the creep, so there is still that minion advantage there. You can see right now they've started up the Baron again. Decoy not yet to being able to get vision in there. They don't
Legacy
know.
Are recalling. Oh,
that's
they've
another
got
sneak.
it. They've 100% got it. Sleeping doesn't have TP, but Mimic doesn't know, so his TP advantage means
Ooh,
nothing. Decoy
Sybil
might
can go over the wall. Sybil has
He's checking.
long arms.
Oh,
He
they
checked
back
and
away.
they back away.
Because they don't have TP on Poppy. He's in range to cancel, and he did just actually tackle onto the Trundle, but that got so incredibly low. Both carries from Legacy base. That could have been their opportunity.
However,
They
they've
just went
gone
over
into
the
the pit. You can see he grabbed the turret, blow him up. Sybil now has still got aggro. He has to get out of there somehow. I feel like he can just stick around, but they don't go for it.
Yeah, they didn't want to force further there. Of course, Ryzen Caitlyn did deploy back onto the map, so potentially didn't want to walk into the Baron pit against the Zac, because he would have just flashed out at the end. But that could have been a big opportunity for Bombers, but they do just get one pick, and they decide the turret kill isn't enough for them to want to force anything, but it will give Legacy opportunity to take down this Infernal.
Yeah, Infernal going to be started up. No response is available. Maybe top lane turret can be grabbed by Luch in this time, but I feel like that was an inevitability anyway.
Just going to even it out, 3-3.
Yeah, so a couple of Infernals in this series have gone over to Legacy from just good tempo plays, to be honest. However, Bomber's still definitely in this one. You can see that, you know, you're going to have the super tank of the Poppy. She'll be ulted up, but eventually she will get those stats back if she navigates the team fights well. Going to have Black Shield as well as 2 80 carries that scale incredibly well into the late game, Luch and Tiger. At the same time, we've seen Claire already pop off on Rise. And Caitlyn is just so damn annoying.
But in terms of Seb's relevance, as we progress through this game, we saw before we flipped to the goal, Claire's actually picked himself up a QSS. So both carries from Legacy now will be almost completely safe for the Skarner as Rosie lane's a bit of a bind, so really going to be relying on the carries and just a front-to-back team fight. And the Corki and the Varish to be able to do significant enough damage. The side lane is never going to win. Mimic's going to have this pressure for the rest of the game, and if they can make...
Oh, actually, they're going to look to burn
Flash?
Mimic's Flash. They do. Very nicely done, however, still has the red buff. That regen is going to be huge in lane.
Oh,
as Sybil goes over, actually guesses wrong, and this time could be ultied up. Will once again get the unstoppable. However, because of the black shield, Seb cannot go with him. Claire has ghosted down. Seb steps onto a trap.
Well, they can't make it pick there. Do get a nice chunk onto Sybil once again. He's going to have to go back to base potentially.
And this is the, not the Baron, the Warmog change coming into effect.
He's got a Visage.
Sybil would be able to stick around last patch. This patch gets chunked out, potentially a time to start Baron up one more time.
They're looking for Claire.
Luch is looking, you can see, going to TP out. However, this time they can potentially go with them. No, not quick enough.
Of course, Corki has no CC to be able to cancel Claire's ulti there, so... even though he casted it in his face, can only give him a little bit of a chunk.
They need to do Baron right now.
Yep.
If they don't do Baron in the next couple of seconds, Mimic is going to take their whole base. And you can just see right now that Sleeping cannot keep him off the turret. We'll be able to tackle him, get some good damage down again, but with red buff, with the Titanic Hydra, actually they're going for it. This time Decoy not going to be stunned up. No flash out of Seb to grab him either. Sybil looking over the wall, but Claire keeping them at bay. And Mimic is back to full health.
And Sleeping also doesn't have TP. He channeled it earlier and he wasn't able to get anything done, so this is why Mimic's hard committing to the play here. Sleeping doesn't do enough damage, and that's the inhib turret going down. Seb based to try and stop it, but Mimic just walks away.
Exactly right. There's nothing they can do right now against the Trundle. Every single time they don't execute on a play, Mimic takes another objective, and eventually he will be on Nexus turret with a Banner of Command minion.
Oh.
And at that stage, it is do or die.
This is not a fun game for Sleeping. His job in this comp sucks. But
he's a goalie.
Bombers are trying to pull the trigger on the Baron once again.
They do it so quick. It is a Bork Ginsu. Can they turn around? They should focus. Oh, they actually nail Claire. Yes. That's going to be the QSS used. Teleport coming into the top lane. This should be the fight. In flies Sybil. And all of a sudden, Luch is just frontlining. Flashes into a wall. Will get out. However, they've left Tiger to the wolves. And still Luch falls down to ignite. Both carries dead. And now Legacy can just look to continue the chase. That's going to be Rosie falling down as well. So 3 members gone, and Baron should be the target.
And the difference is Mimic in that fight. They look for the engaged Bombers, try and get the Baron, but no TP on the Poppy. Mimic gets to the play. He just eats alive Luch. They have to run away 4v5. They can't even contest that one. So Legacy, after Bombers trying time and time again, they had 2-3 attempts at the Baron. They're just going to pick it up uncontested.
And as far as split push threat goes, we've seen Mimic play Camille, Fiora, and now Trundle. His Trundle has looked significantly more decisive than the others.
And the big thing is Seb's flash right there. Flashed into the wall. Tiger landed the ulti onto Ryze and burnt the QSS. If they had the follow-up Impale from Skarner, potentially they can take down a carry and win this fight. But as soon as that doesn't land, as soon as one person dies, it goes from a 5v4 to a 5v3, and that's just unwinnable. They pick up a nice kill onto Rosie at the back end. Pillar means that he doesn't have flash. He will fall down, but ultimately the fight was already lost by that point.
Absolutely. And now you're going to have a split pushing level 16 Trundle with an Iceborne Gauntlet to eat your turrets for breakfast. Mid lane outer is still up and available. And Mimic is about to go win the game somewhere else. And you can see right now they're saying, hard engage mid. And they're saying, okay, we're going to get out of dodge.
I bet that was Mimic back pinging. He's like, let me get to the inhib. Just like spam back ping. Do not get caught out. They're looking for a play.
Because Poppy's too tanky.
Yep.
If he ults Poppy, he can probably just run away.
Yep. He can. Pings are going down bot side. Mimic's going to have to walk away.
Everyone down here does get the pillar out. Ultimate will be available from Skarner. Does he want to drag him back? Yes, he does. So they, all of a sudden, ulti's up Skarner. Not the target you want necessarily, but the target he's got. Mimic turns around. He's starting to eat them. He will fall down. What is the play up and available for everyone else? They burnt the Skarner ult at the same time. I feel like that's not necessary, and now Legacy can look at this bottom lane, top lane, sorry, tier 2.
Yeah, they burn this Skarner ulti late. You either burn it at the start to kill him immediately, or you like don't burn it at all, so you have it to defend the top side, of course. Mimic, once he realized he was dead there,
just unit mid. However, they do stop Sybil taking that taxi. However, there should be enough still to get the turret down.
Yeah, we're just buying some time so they get access to the turret. So that's an inner and an outer gone with this Baron already.
Oh, ultimate lands, and that's going to be spreading onto Claire. Do they continue to go forward? Yes, they do. Here comes Poppy. Flash as well as a tackle out of the ultimate. Knocks him up. Claire's in big trouble, however, has Pop goes. And they're winning this 4v3. Claire continually running forward. Luch over the wall. Will be chunked out. Claire still wants it. In goes Zach. And will burn the flash out of Tiger. Somehow, some way, Legacy won a 4v3.
And that was honestly a 5v3. Sybil hadn't even landed there yet. Sorry, no, 4. Yeah. Poppy wasn't there. My bad. But Claire still had access to the QSS. So despite the wallbang not actually landing onto him, he still had that extra safety net.
And you can see that Rosie is so low right now. Lands a stun, snare onto Decoy. But they just can't approach it. Legacy have pressure absolutely everywhere on the map right now.
The big thing, Mimic is back on the map, as you mentioned now. We'll be slowly pushing this one in, so they're going to take another turret. That's 3 with this Baron so far. Mimic really wants to get access into the base right now. Claire looking for Luch. Oh, potentially had the root range there, just on the edge. Luch potentially being caught out, has to blow the clan.
Yeah, however, in goes Seb one more time. Sleeping is behind them, does interrupt the jump. Should be able to get onto Raid, and Raid finally will fall down. This might be the fight they're looking for. However, so much damage out of that machine gun rise, and you can already see the the Trundle on the bottom lane is just starting to eat the inhibitor. Sleeping, if you go there, he's just going to kill you.
He absolutely is, and that one was the 5v3 there. Take it down. They force them back. 2 members of the Bombers have to heal up, but Tiger incredibly low. Another
ultimate
ulti.
lands again. However, QSS one more time. And you can see Mimic is just running around in the base. Spooky Ghost lands. That's going to be the line skill shot.
The Glacial Augment proc there.
But they just can't get anything done.
They can't. They're just bleeding objectives despite number advantages. They're just not strong enough. 5,000 gold lead for Legacy right now, but it's not really about the gold lead. It's the Baron buff. It's just the strength of the Rise so far. The Caitlyn. Mimic in the side lane needs 2-3 people we've seen to actually force him away, and it takes so long to kill him. It's not like you get onto the side lane, he immediately dies, and you can go somewhere else. He can buy a solid 10 seconds, maybe 15 if he plays it well, where you have to just chase around this stupid troll.
And he's got a QSS now.
Yep.
So honestly, even if he gets Skarner ult, he can probably run away for a little bit longer. It's going to take, every single time you go to him, it just takes a couple of seconds more.
Yep.
To the point where, I mean, 2 seconds right now means the second inhibitor down. And you're going to be playing in your base for the rest of the game. Sure, they're scaling, but I just don't think they're scaling quick enough.
And the big thing is, it's not even about the fact that as the game progresses, it like gets harder to kill the Trundle, because you also have to bring a mid laner or an AD carry.
Yeah.
Poppy and Skarner have, like, they will legitimately just get 1v2 by a Trundle. It'll be Grasp, Proc and heal him back up, lifesteal from Ravenous.
Here we go again. Actually, very nice cone that time.
Just splits the gap there, says no to the Scorpion, so that's what they have to do. It has to be Luch. He's really the only one that will be able to take down Mimic, so they have to bring him time and time again. This just means Legacy have control over the complete other side of the map every time that happens.
And you can see Luch right now going towards his next Zeal item. He is a very big Corki. However, as soon as he steps up, Claire is able to return fire in a big way. Has himself no magic resist. At the same time, Tiger, no wit's end, is very squishy as well. Rapid Fire Cannon Ginsu as well as Blade of the Royal King, because they wanted that Baron control.
And like Rapid is a bit weird there.
Yeah, I agree.
It seems weird.
I feel like
a wit's end or a
just,
Shiv, like, if you're going to pick one of the two, then maybe like Shiv just for the straight up damage, but the one long-range auto proc. Interesting choice out of the AD carry from Bombers here, but Legacy unrelenting in their pressure. Baron spawning at about 1:15 seconds, but they're still pushing down on the inhibs. Oh! That's a Rapid.
That's a warning shot. He says, next time you step up, I'll kill you. As you see, Binding lands again. However, it's onto the tanky member, and they do not want to march forward. Sybil takes a little bit of his health in damage, but is surviving well.
Package available for Luch. Gonna step on a trap. Fortunately, is out of range. Seb doesn't take nearly as much damage as Tiger did from that headshot proc, but Legacy just trying to hold him in the base right now. There's just a few wards on the map for Bombers. I feel like the big one is that pink ward at top tri-bush. Because Legacy, they're going to keep pushing in these waves, and they're going to go to Baron. Sleeping has TP. That's their one play. If their flank play around the Baron is unsuccessful, then you have to think Legacy should be able to close out the game with a second Baron buff.
However, this game is starting to stall a little bit. And when you have a Corki and a Varus, you have to acknowledge the late game damage that will come through. That is the ward Ejin was talking about. 20 seconds until Baron is up and available. Bottom lane is pushing in. Poppy has to go deal with that now, you feel. But then how do they get vision access?
Yeah, and that's the thing. They've preemptively brought over Mimic on the Trundle. He's actually going back bot.
Yeah.
So they want the pressure. Kind of deciding quite late, I feel like, from Legacy, but Sleeping is matching down on the bot side. Both of these top laners can cancel the other's TPs. So if Mimic TPs to the play, Sleeping can cancel.
If Sleeping TPs to the play, Mimic wins.
Yep.
He just lets him TP at that point and says, okay.
Hey guys, just die really slowly. I'll kill the Nexus.
Stop the backs. As we see, actually, Mimic is just so deep into the base. There's nothing Sleeping can do at this stage of the game to contest.
I feel like he can't really burn the ulti, though. Because potentially he'll actually have to TP to the play. Actually, no, Bombers are committing for him.
And Bombers are going to commit to him. As you mentioned, there's 4 members down there. They're going to leave Skarner for the steal. Mimic uses that ultimate and he turns around, starts dealing damage to Rosie. Will QSS away? Now the binding lands. Luch should be able to pick up this kill. And where can Seb come from? No, Baron's already gone, and Seb, he's being found out. Now it's a 1-for-1 trade.
I'm pretty sure Decoy hit him over the wall with the blast plant. He was trying to get around behind. He has the flash available.
Wiggle, 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 Skarner.
Got flung over the wall.
Do you just let him
Is
go
it
at
worth
this stage?
chasing? Yeah, they have the Baron. Of course, they might just... Oh, actually, he burns the flash. They might just be waiting for Mimic to come back up, so they don't want to make the game-winning push until he's available. So you have this 40 seconds.
Teams had have come to him here.
This
would be a 5v3.
Yeah.
They were bottom side. And now Seb's just going to die as slowly as possible. Claire can't push in. They've pushed out mid lane. And Claire actually gets scouted out there. Spooky goes still a little while off cooldown.
You have to commend people where it's due there. Rosie, very nice play onto Mimic. The QSS flash came out, but he held the bind for long enough to be able to take down Mimic in the side lane. So the inhib will respawn on the bottom-hand side. You have to think Mimic will go down there once again.
Who scales better? I'm looking at it and I'm just thinking, how the heck do you deal with an annoying Trundle? And then I'm like, well, he has to come into your bases. Big damage comes out of Luch. That's why I'm kind of thinking Bombers maybe with the advantage. However, over the wall goes Sybil. Will get both summoner spells. Flashes forward. Sibyl's still going in. Big damage coming out of Luch on the back end. Rosie has to burn the QSS, and now Claire just going to walk up, gets tackled into the wall, goes down. That's going to be a Taric ultimate. However, Tiger lands his ultimate as well. Flash.
Mimic CP!
What the heck? I feel like this is the way this game is going to go. Mimic TP, takes another inhibitor, and nothing matters. Over the wall goes Sybil one more time. Lands on no one, however, gets the flash still. Passive will be popped, and now he should fall down. Raid steps up as well, trying to save his jungler's life. Will not be able to do so. But Mimic and Sleeping are still just going at it at this bottom lane. And Sleeping finally chases him out.
And that's the thing, you're asking about scaling. You have to think that Corki and Varus do significant amount of damage. If they can find the pick onto Claire, that's really all Legacy have. This side lane pressure means so significantly less once you're in the base. Because it's not like you're drawing people across the map. You're literally drawing them from the Nexus to the inhibitor, and that's about it. They can walk over in the space of a couple of seconds.
And this could be Elder Drake, because the jungler is dead. They let Mimic go back, so they know that for now this is a 5v3.
Raid's going to red buff.
And you can just see they're not
It is.
They're not going to be able to get this one. They do it so damn quickly. Taric is moving in, 8,000 health. Still no jungler available. They send out the Spooky Ghost. They do the recon mission. And this will be a double Dragon Elder Drake for the Bombers lineup.
And I feel like this is what the game's going to come down to. The late game Elders and the late game Barons. Because Legacy, once they're in the base of the Bombers, which they are, Mimic's lead in the side lane just doesn't mean much. And it feels like that was the first team fight we've seen Bombers had a crack at for a very long time in this game. It's been about 15 minutes.
This has been a confusing game of League of Legends.
Since they've had any sort of advantage.
Still got Baron, still going to look to push in. This turret will fall down. There is no way they can defend it. Bannon will start putting in work. Very nice pillar. And you can see big damage across onto Luch. So they may have to drop.
But the big thing is Skarner doesn't have the flash right now. He burnt it to try and live on the bot side of the map.
That's actually going to have to be the QSS out of Mimic. Didn't want to fall down. Turret defense really now is on.
That's 2 inhibs down. Mimic got the bottom one. The team gets the mid. Looking to pressure up the top side. Baron versus Elder. You have to think Bombers. 2 dragons on the Elder. They should... This should be one of their best opportunities. Forward.
You can see they're just going to look to wave clear. They just want the Baron to expire, which it now has. And I honestly think 2 of these lanes down, just keep farming. You still haven't got 6 items on everyone. Get your Essence Reaver. Get yourself an Infinity Edge or something onto Tiger. Get yourself a Zhonya's onto Rosie.
Get an Ardent.
Nah. Waste of an item as Luch once again steps forward and just gets nearly 1 hit. We'll use the crappy equalizer one more time. However, this time, QSS burnt from Claire. He gets taken so low, and that's actually the Taric ultimate as well. Binding just whiffs on Raid. if that had have hit, you would have felt it was a go button.
Potentially coming out there. Spooky
goes.
does stop the
Actually,
recall.
that's a line recall, and he will land the
No
buy.
QSS.
Where is everyone else? Where is Rosie's team? He's trying to win them the game, and they just
TP,
aren't there.
flank.
You can see TP flank on the back end. Seb will go very low. Will get
Oh,
chunked
binding.
out. Mimic is low as well. In goes Popping. Actually gets taken the other side. Will tackle Ray back into the team, and they kidnap him. They bring him back. However, the top laner will go down. Luch is going forward. Can they pick up Mimic? No, they cannot. They will just trade a 1-for-1.
That could have been the window there. Legacy might just be looking to go back in. They want to stop the recalls because the 2 inhibs. Means the supers will push into the base eventually. Mimic healing off the wave. And Seabolt's kind of looking for an avenue into the backline. But is it enough right now? Raid is dead. No QSS on Claire. No summoners either.
And this is so many super creeps hitting the Nexus turrets right now. There's 3 and a 4th will join. Turret goes down very low. It will die.
Does it?
No, they hold it
Barely.
off. Barely will live.
1 auto. Literally 1 auto from a super creep, but they do hold on them. These turrets regen ever so slowly, but they do.
Wowee. I absolutely cannot believe that the Bombers have held on to this game for 40 minutes.
What the?
You got to remember,
Mimic was
this is
so
a team
big.
just playing for pride. Nothing on the line for them.
Yep.
And they are still tooth and nailing, make Legacy fight for every inch that they try and claim. 1 minute and 20 seconds until Baron. Elder Drake will follow in about 3 minutes after that. And this is now a 1 team fight game.
It is. It absolutely is. And if you look at the scoreboard, you're like, oh yeah, Bombers are winning. You know, their scores look good. 5-1 on the mid laner. Mimic's kind of feeding in the side lane, but that's not the story. Mimic had so much pressure. Sure, he's run 3, but he's taken about every turret on the map. He's taken down inhibs time and time again. But as we keep mentioning, it's just not relevant at this stage of the game. Once they've broken the base, that's what his job is to do, and he needs everyone else to
and this is where the QSS tax is huge. Claire, right now, would be sitting on so much gold. However, he has to hold a QSS. That Rise, if he sells it, just becomes a sitting duck. As a Mimic going to look to 1v1 Sleeping again. However, Sleeping right now is just so tanky. Even if he gets ulti.
Yeah, he doesn't care.
He probably isn't going to die anymore.
Going to take so long to actually chase him down, and he will have to do that. Sleeping will live for so long, walking back to his base.
And
Mimic
you've
will have to
already
go
shown
so
you can
deep.
defend Barons. Do you even care if you give up another one?
I feel like you do. I feel like you do.
All right, so you're going to see them posture around Baron. Sleeping has left that bottom lane. However, now will be called back. You see, right now in the brush.
Oh, has to be
already. Yeah, that's huge. 2 seconds until it spawns. Ray trapping off that exit. They've pulled over Sleeping again. However, Mimic is in the base. And I feel like they just have to go kill the Poppy. But they're not going to. They're going to go for the fight. You can see streaming forward. Do they continue the leash here? They're going to try 9,000 health back onto that target. And you can see Mimic actually just might win the game. He's got a Banner of Command creep up, and they will start the Baron one more time.
And that's the thing. Legacy are just buying time for the Trundle right now. They keep aggroing the Baron and walking away. Raid has a shield.
He's let the Banner of Command creep back in range, and you can see Mimic right now has taken 1 turret already. They have to back, and they're going to give over Baron.
Can Seb steal it?
But can they kill Mimic?
Time number 2. 3,000 health. They're just healing it. They know that Seb is around here right now. Mimic gets forced out. 1.6. He's in.
He goes in. He does not get it. He just lives. However, top laner will go down for jungle. Now Claire trying to take all of his teammates into that lane. And without Seb, without that initiation, how do they fight?
It has to be a binding. Rosie's actually flanking, looking behind. Package available for
Binding
Luch.
goes out, does not hit anyone, and already Sybil flies in. They're trying to wave clear to the best of their ability. Big damage out of Tiger, and that will get the turret cult out. Now Sleeping can try and look for something here. Banner of Command minion still up and available. They will just keep this turret alive. Raid stands next to a creep. Will go in, will get tackled, will not do anything. Luch goes so low again. And I feel now they just have to see flash forward from Raid, able to get him. And now this is a 4v3. Teleport is available in 16 seconds for Mimic. And Tiger needs to do something really special. If it is not now, it is never Bombers. All 3 of your inhibitors are going down, and Legacy will just recall.
Seb just spawned as well. So just too little too late here from the Bombers. They can't defend any of the inhibs. They all go down. Claire.
Teleport's coming in while everyone's trying to recall.
Does he swap the TP and come back? He has the flash, but I feel like potentially he might here. Legacy want to apply the pressure. He does.
There he goes. He goes for Raid. Actually gets out of dodge. Seb will be bound up on the back line. He's sleeping. He's been ult. Sybil also will fall very low. Gets blobbleted. But this is just a game of turret defense now. Decoy uses the ultimate. Legacy is just going to bum rush the Nexus and take this one 2-0.
Damn, that game. That was weird. You were rooting for Bombers at the end. Like, they held on for so long.
I honestly lost track of what was happening.
Yep.
For so long, it was on a knife edge. It looked like Legacy were going to win 20 minutes ago.
Yeah, it did. It absolutely did. Bombers, they found themselves that pick onto Claire topside that really kind of got them back into the game. It got them into the Elder, kind of stagnated and evened out the game, but that was already very late. Mimic, early game, just had so much pressure.
And I think we just saw the best of the worst of the Bombers in one game. This team, mechanically, is very sound. All their players now showing that. But the decision-making, to send Seb twice to try and steal Baron, when they weren't losing to Baron, and they had to fight 4v4, when they could be fighting 5v4. Mimic was dead to rights. I feel like that's a questionable decision.
Yeah, and that's really the only play you have, right? Like, you have to just, like, Mimic's got, like, you can't contest the Baron, because it's a given that he will just, like, end the game. He will take your Nexus turret.
Yep.
So you're like, okay, so we have to deal with Mimic first, and then we can look for a fight. And they have the tools. If Seb didn't have to blow his flash, kind of running all the way across the map, running bot lane, things like that, if he held onto that one, that's another avenue potentially they can get into a fight. And in the end, like, he was ulting onto Sybil. He was impaling the Zac because there was QSS on Ryze, QSS on Caitlyn, and things like that. So it was very difficult, but there had to be those windows, and unfortunately, they just couldn't find it.
Yeah, and you thought things had finally lined up. You know, Elder Drake going down. They were able to trade it. They had the objective for longer, but Legacy, like a dog with a bone, just repetitively going back to that strategy, put them to the grindstone and wore them down.
And there were so many TPs into the base. Like, Claire at the end of that game, he burnt, like, he takes his flash away for TP and then comes in. Mimic, I think, like, twice, literally TP to a minion in bot lane, like, under the inhib of the Bombers. So that was weird. Once they got to the base, Mimic early game had so much pressure, and once he gets to the base, it just all kind of fell apart. He could do nothing more, and Legacy, like, they did struggle to pull out the win, but eventually they just find the team fight. Raid with that last pick onto Luch was really, like, what sealed the deal.
Yeah, it certainly was. 2 games, 2 very different games. Both, however, quite scrappy. And to hear about them further, let's throw it over to Laura Choo Choo's and a victorious member of Legacy.
Thank you very much, guys. Choo Choo's and I are joined by Captain of Legacy, Claire. Congratulations on the win. Even though it was a 2-0, though, it seemed to be a bit of a crazy series. What did you think of your team's performance today, and what were your expectations coming into this series?
Yeah, so in the first game, I think apart from our early river control, the rest of the game was not bad. I think it was a pretty solid game. The second game, however, I think there were a lot of mistakes in the early game, and it made our mid game and late game a lot harder. So, like, our champs should have been stronger than they were when we reached those points, and I think the game was harder because of that.
I really like the Trundle pick you guys put on because I thought Mimic is kind of like a star in your team that came over from Korea, and he's been put on like the Poppy in game 1, but I thought putting him on the Trundle was something special. Did you guys prepare this like specific matchup?
So I think we heard in draft Lucio say, "Oh, so Mimic's played Poppy twice this year. I mean Trundle twice this year. Let's just give it to him." And I mean, he took control of the matchup. So
he played the matchup very well. Even towards the end, when I thought it was kind of falling off because the Corki was scaling and the game was stagnant for a bit, but he was kind of just a nuisance and just slowly broke away at every
yeah,
tower.
I think Mimic's. I think he's a beast. I love letting him play whatever he wants to play, and then he just wins every matchup.
He seems like a really fun character to have on the team. But Claire, you got 2 pentakills in the first game.
One was unofficial.
Yeah, one of them was unofficial, but we're counting it. Yeah. How did it feel, and what were the comms like in the team?
For the first one, I didn't actually realize what happened until I saw like the little text at the bottom. I was like, oh damn, this is cool. But I didn't get a real penta. What the hell? And also, it reminded me of last week against Order when I got Quadra and then Tally killed me at the end, and I was really salty. So I'm happy that
he did.
I got my penta.
He turned around and ate you.
Yeah.
You got your revenge.
Well, what happened here? Because I remember Rosie was he couldn't actually change the TP because neither of his summoners were up. So we were thinking if he used his unsealed spellbook to change the TP and TP somewhere else. But he didn't have that heart. But it's good that you guys dove him because he
was meant to be.
He wasn't going to give you that penta.
Yeah, Lachlan actually died for it, and he was like, "Oh, my PP for yours, it's worth it."
Oh,
yeah. I feel like we need to explain what PP is. I don't think we've actually explained it on the show.
PP
so for context.
stands for performance points, and these points, you can find them on a site called best.gg, which records like all the OPL matches, and each player has their own PP in their role. So like, basically everyone just looks at the PP and says, I'm better than you because my number's higher. And it's based on like KDA, damage dealt, CS, and all that kind of stuff.
Thank you very much for explaining that. Where are you on the...
I'm second. I'm behind Roma right now.
You'd probably take first from the
Pentakill.
I
think I might
probably
be climbing up a bit. Yeah.
We'll make sure tomorrow that we put him down.
Thank you.
Well, you guys are locked into the gauntlet. How are you feeling going into it and for your match against Legacy next week?
Avant-Garde, AV?
Oh, yeah, sorry, AV. How embarrassing.
Playing AV, we've already lost twice to them, but I think the whole split, I've always thought that we were the better team, but on game day, we just like played pretty crap, so I'm not sure. Maybe they are our kryptonite or something, but I think we should win going into Gauntlet against AV.
We asked people at home to send in their questions for Choo-Choos, but I think it'd be great to have you answer one of the questions sent in to us while you're here. We had Matthew send in a question, and it's kind of two questions in one, saying, I know we are only into the first split of the 2018 season, but what champion would you like to see awarded the victorious skin this season? And do you think Sion will go the distance and be continued to play right up into Worlds?
I think that's a hard call because Worlds is way later. Maybe MSI, I think he'll be playing in MSI. For Victorious skin, I'm not too sure actually. I actually don't know what they base their Victorious skins on each year. So
neither do I. They gave it to Graves last season. Sorry.
I always thought it was the champion most played in ranked. I could be wrong, but
maybe. But I don't think Graves was played much last year.
I disagree.
Yeah,
I think they flip a coin and they flip a they flip like a 200-sided coin. And they pick a champion. I don't know. Like, if I had to pick a champion, I'll pick Zoe.
Who would you like to see?
That would be cool. I just think a champion that doesn't really have many skins. Maybe for mid lane champ, maybe like Victor. He doesn't really have any good skins.
Oh, he's got like
IMO.
3, 2, yeah.
I think they're all.
Victor would be actually a really good one because he's kind of just sat there and he's still okay now.
He's been a meta pick for a long time.
Is that the criteria for victorious like skins? They're just like okay.
I have no idea.
I don't know.
I don't know.
I hope that answers the question.
Well, congratulations once again on your win, Claire. Before we get into our second series, though, earlier this week on our Hungry Jacks 1v1 takedown, we had a Draven off between Shock and Chippies. That'll be coming up right after these highlights.
You can see he grabs the Taric, blow him up. Sybil now has still got aggro. He has to get out of there somehow. This should be the fight. In flies Sybil, and all of a sudden Luch is just frontlining, flashes into a wall, will get out. However, they've left Tiger to the wall, and still Luch falls down to Ignite. Sleeping is behind them, does interrupt the jump, should be able to get onto Raid, and Raid finally will fall down. This might be the fight they're looking for. However, so much damage out of that machine gun rise. Over the wall goes Sybil. Will get both summoner spells, flashes forward, Sybil's still going in. Big damage coming out of Luch on the back end. Rosie has to burn the QSS, and now Claire just going to walk up, gets tackled into the wall, goes down, in goes popping, actually gets taken the other side, will tackle Ray back into the team, and they kidnap him, they bring him back, however the top laner will go down. Luch is going forward, can they pick up Mimic? No, they cannot, they will just trade a 1-for-1. But this is just a game of turret defense now. Decoy uses the ultimate, Legacy is just going to bum rush the Nexus and take this one 2-0.
This 1v1, I have everything to lose, versing someone that's never won an OPL game. All the pressure's on me to perform today.
Chippy's weakness is that he's gotten too used to winning. I'm a bit desperate for a win now, so I think I want it more.
So Shock, in solo queue, he's really good at stuff that catches people off guard, Zillion, Urgot, all those champs.
Chippy's is kind of good at everything, to be honest. In my opinion, the best top laner in the league. Gonna mean a lot if I can beat him. If I win, Chippy said he'd add me on Snapchat after my first OPL win, so I'm hoping this one counts.
Today, yeah, I guess it counts, as long as he doesn't snap me too much.
All right,
there he is.
No, this champ's hard.
Oh, I think I missed an Axe, that's not good.
Oh my god, I'm an Axe expert. Alright, I've mastered the axes.
Yeah.
You're going down.
You're one step ahead.
Oh, whoa. Just poking you down, you know?
Scary, man.
Oh, it's getting close. I feel like I have no idea who wins this. Oh! Alright,
Nice.
GG, dude.
GG.
I think Chippy's did a good job of like playing confidently. I think he's just used to playing on stage.
It's actually a lot closer than expected. I think I was on like 10 HP at the end. He almost had me, but I came out on top in the end.
I think I gotta practice some Draven now next time. I have no idea what I'm doing. I don't think he did either though, so it's okay.